Welcome back. अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं, claimed the BJP during elections. In virtually every rally, Narendra Modi took on then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh for failing to check inflation and control spiraling prices. Now that he's the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi is in the dock. Prices are going through the roof. After petrol and diesel, the prices of non-subsidized LPG were increased today. Rail fares are up and so are prices of milk, sugar, vegetables. Are 30 days too soon to judge Prime Minister Modi's efforts? Or when it comes to the BJP, is the marketing, as Congress alleges, better than the product?
Protests heated up across the country. Soon after, reports came in that price of non-subsidized LPG has been hiked by 16.5 rupees per cylinder. The day witnessed pan-India protests. While in Varanasi, angry Samajwadi workers took to the streets. In Kanpur, Congress workers demanded a rollback of fuel prices. The BJP came out to Modi's defence even as Prime Minister on Monday stepped in and states were asked to take urgent measures to remove hitches in supply chain and ensure uninterrupted flow. For now, among the biggest challenges before the government is to explain the reasons behind rise of food, petrol, diesel and LPG prices. India's wholesale price inflation hit a 5-month high earlier this month, underscoring challenges facing the government just weeks after it came to power. Bureau Report, headlines today.
And the question that is being asked is, where are the Achhe Din? Is BJP's marketing better than the product? Look at the prices that are spiraling. Onions at 28 rupees a kg, pureros at 25 rupees a kg, tomatoes at 20 rupees a kg, and there is a 40% increase in prices of vegetables, especially onions. There is worse to come. There is a drought that is now looming large. This is what the Agriculture Minister has warned today, especially in West India. We are getting you prices of just the basic. In the good old days, they said pyaz and roti, onion and roti is what the poor man eats. But can the poor man afford onions at 28 rupees a kg? Whereas in the Nasik market, it is still selling at 12 rupees and 13 rupees a kg in Lasalgaon. So what does this mean? Is it the middleman who's minting money because the farmers are not getting much? Yesterday, we showed you how farmers in Himachal Pradesh had destroyed their produce of tomatoes because they weren't getting even the basic prices for tomatoes. But look at the prices, whether it's in Chennai or in Mumbai or in Delhi. So is it hoarding? Are middlemen making money? What is it that the government is doing? When Prime Minister Narendra Modi was aspiring to be Prime Minister, he attacked the then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh for not doing much. Now the shoe is on the other foot, and is it pinching? The Congress says the Prime Minister today has taken exactly the same steps that then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh had taken. Why is it that BJP doesn't have original thinking? The BJP hits back and says that the UPA government, after 10 years of populist schemes, left them with empty coffers. They had nothing to kickstart the economy. Where is the money to pump into infrastructure? They are trying their best, but there is a bitter pill. There is a bitter pill that the Aam Aadmi will have to swallow. It's the shock therapy treatment. But what's the response to the shock therapy? Let's listen in. BJP's Sambit Patra now joins me on the broadcast. Sambit, the Prime Minister had made big promises. Achhe din aane wale hain. Manish Tiwari says, kahan gaye wo achhe din? Lalu Yadav asks, kahan gaye wo achhe din?
No, it's but natural that Achhe Din will take some time to come. It is not that the governments don't work in continuance. I mean, the government which was previously in place for 10 long years, it will take some time to undo the policies that the government had made and to make new policies to be in place. But we have to remember certain facts. As far as the rail cost fare hike was concerned, it was a decision which was taken by the previous government. We had to stand by it, and we in fact stood by it for the reason that the rail was collapsing and we had to improvise upon the railways. It was a tough decision, bitter pill number one. As far as the petrol hike was concerned, look, the petrol hike, we have to understand of the Iraq situation, especially with the Baiji refineries going closed on June 18th. The Baiji refinery almost produced 170,000 lakh tons of petroleum products. So it's but natural that the whole world in fact has been hit by the petrol prices. And as far as India is concerned, the relation between rupee and the dollar vis-a-vis the petroleum product outside is very important, and it's for the people to realize over here that approximately
you realize all of this now, because remember that dialogue of Prakash Javadekar, rail, tail or khel, janta sab samajhti hai. He said that as opposition leader. Now the shoe is on the opposite.
No, we still
that same rail, tail and khel is happening even today.
We still stand by.
Rail prices you've increased, tail prices you've increased.
No. We still stand by the rail, tail, khel of what Mr. Prakash Javadekar had said then. But remember, our intentions are totally different. It will take some time for the policies to creep into the system. And we are working extra time, committed, hardly to see to it that it comes into place. It will take some
Congress
time.
Party spokesperson Sanjay Jha joins me on the broadcast. Sanjay Jha, merit in what Sambit Patra says. It's only been 30 days. It's too soon to judge. 10 years of UPA government. You left them with empty coffers. It will take some time to kickstart the economy.
Absolute rubbish. Unadulterated garbage is what you have heard. When we inherited from the NDA, we had a deficit cash balance. We have left them with a positive cash balance of 26,000 crores, a booming foreign exchange reserve, a current account deficit below 2%. And by the way, let me tell you, I've heard all the reasons he said. They're completely off the track. The reality is that when we were in government, Gaurav, let me remind you, when we talked about the global recession that hurt America and Europe, they have still not come out of it. India remained above water and above board. The BJP government kept running us down and saying that was nothing but just a flimsy excuse. Now when they are hurt with some economic headwinds like the Iraqi crisis or a very delayed monsoon, they don't know. I think this government is frankly clueless. They have absolutely no prescriptions. They have no panacea. So all they're doing is blaming the UPA. Well, the UPA has been voted out, BJP.
So are the people right in feeling let down? Are the people right in feeling let down, Sanjay, that in 1 month the BJP government, according to the Congress and Lalu Prasad Yadav, seems to have done nothing to check spiraling prices? Nothing that the Congress hadn't already done.
It is nothing. It is... Gaurav, this is nothing but again the typical brazen propaganda of the BJP. Let me tell them, elections are over, they have won, they should be happy. Unless they are frightened of governance and want to come back and sit in the opposition right away, they are welcome. They can dissolve the parliament. But the truth of the matter is very, very simple. Running a government is very different from coming in a TV studio and barking horse. You see, the reality of life, Gaurav, is that if you look at some of the steps they have taken, hoarding. The truth is, when a country's per capita income grows, people shift gradually from cereals and wheat and rice into vegetables, into meat, into poultry products, and into having a milk, etc., eggs, etc. Now that puts pressure on fruits and vegetables as a consumption item. Now if you're not going to increase production, you're always going to have a differential food price inflation going much higher than expected.
When we talked about this, what is it that Prime Minister Modi has done
the BJP went against
then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh hadn't done in his tenure to bring down prices? What is it that he does differently?
If then Prime Minister, the former Prime Minister, Mr. Manmohan Singh and his team would have done anything, then probably the country would not have been seeing the days that we are talking of today. And Mr. Sanjay Jha needs to be reminded of the fact that one of the very important honorable minister of the UPA dispensation said that महंगाई इसलिए बढ़ जाती है क्योंकि गरीब आजकल 2 सब्जी खाने लगे हैं. Because the poor people have started eating sabji, that is the reason of inflation. So please do not teach us as to what the spokesperson should do in the television channel. But positive steps are being taken and people need to be reassured in the sense that of the 580 agricultural districts that India has, it has been mapped in 500 districts as to what the contingency plan should be if there is a shortfall in the monsoon. Secondly, 50 lakh tons of rice has been released.
There is a shortfall in monsoon. There is no if anymore. Sunil Alag joins us on the broadcast. Sunil, you spoke a lot about अच्छे दिन आने वाले हैं, but now Is the Congress or is Lalu Yadav, are they wrong in saying kahan gaye achhe din? Are people right in feeling let down, or is 30 days too soon to judge?
Look, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to get into the squabble between BJP and Congress. The people have voted for a long-term solution to the fragmented parliament that we had. Unnecessarily, the media and everybody else is expecting in 30 days the whole world to change. May I remind everybody that last year at this time the price of onions was 100 rupees a kilo. Price of potatoes was 100 rupees a kilo. So let's try and compare what was happening last year and what is happening this year. The public will want to know that in a year when you're going to have a bad monsoon after 3 or 4 years, who is managing the crisis better? Would you have wanted a Manmohan Singh at the wheel, or are you happy with Narendra Modi at the wheel, who in the next 3 to 6 months will learn and will teach everyone how to control it? Look at what the people have not voted for Modi to come in and in 30 days to give the solution. Why is the media and everybody jumping up and down against him? He has said, one last line, he has said you gave the Congress 60 years. Give me 60 months.
Yes.
You guys are not even giving him 6 hours. This is becoming
he's
a
got
joke
30
now.
days so far. No, that's a fair point, and that is why I asked you that question. 30 days too soon to judge. But Paranjoy Guha Thakurta, you've also joined us on the broadcast now. Ramvilas Paswan says media reports and TV is leading to spiraling prices. Is this how this government plans to check prices?
No, that's wrong.
Or is there some essence in what Ramvilas Paswan says, that media is leading to rising prices? Paranjoy.
No.
You see,
That's the most ridiculous
there's
statement
no
I've ever
difference
heard,
with what the spokespersons of the BJP are.
Has got to be a unique.
No, I want to get Paranjoy Guha Thakurta to respond to this, please.
Learn to listen also.
Paranjoy Guha Thakurta, please. Paranjoy, can you hear me?
Gaurav.
Yes.
I see no difference in the language. Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Loud and clear. Please go on.
All right. I see no difference in the language being used by the spokespersons of the BJP with the language that the Congress party was using and the Congress spokespersons were using about a month and a half ago. As of now, yes, this government has been in power for a little over a month. The Congress was in power for 10 years. As of now, I see no indication that in any way the economic policies or the programs or the steps being taken to control inflation by this government are any different. Yes, I understand the government has no control over the international prices of crude oil. I understand the government has no control over the monsoon. But let's look at some decisions that have been taken. The package for the sugar industry in the run-up to the assembly elections in Maharashtra have resulted in the price of sugar going up by about 3 to 4 rupees a kilogram. The railway freight hike, and they are saying this is a decision of the previous government, but the railway freight hike is also going to lead to inflation. The fact that you've allowed diesel prices to creep up, that's also going to lead to inflation. So the same logic is being employed that if we do not increase diesel prices, then our fiscal deficit will go up. You don't want to, then the subsidy bill will go up. The same logic, the same arguments, the same set of reasons are being put forward. You are saying the intermediaries are responsible. We have to curb black marketers. The Congress said exactly the same thing.
Exactly.
So far,
what is Prime Minister Modi doing differently, Sunil Alag?
I
want to come in over here. Thakurda, sir, I just wanted to mention over here an important issue which most of you are agreeing to the fact that it's only 30 days. So anything different which has to be done will take some amount of time. And what we as best as citizens of India can do is hold our breath and have some patience for some time. Policies do not roll out as onions roll out of trucks. It takes some time. And let me remind you of the fact, and you all are reading about it every day in the newspaper, 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. the ministers are working with a good intention, with commitment, without any corruption, and this is very important.
I'd rather wait and see the results also. Sunil Alag, what is it that Prime Minister Modi, is he doing something differently? Because in opposition, they would charge at Manmohan Singh when he would talk about, I've written to states, told them to check black marketing. I've written to states, tell them to remove the supply bottlenecks. I have written to states to say, take action against those who are indulging in what he termed as jamakhori. What is Prime Minister Narendra Modi doing that's different?
The only difference, yes, Gaurav, the only difference which you will see is, whilst I agree with Thakurda when he's saying that, look, maybe the language is the same, but the action is going to be completely different. Unlike when Manmohan Singh said, I have written, and he stopped at written. You will see in the next 30 to 90 days the action that the BJP people take. You people are getting too impatient. I mean, if he's saying he's going to do something, Modi has so far in the last 15 years in Gujarat never said anything and never followed it up with action. That's what the man is all about. That is what you have voted for. Look, the average person on the road, when I talk to them, they are not in the kind of panic that you seem to be saying in 30 days. They know that onions was, if he was not in power, it would have gone to 100 rupees in kilo by now. What was the government doing last year? It is still gone from 20 to 30. Please understand, he is going to give an interim budget on the 10th. Please wait and see if he gives any benefits to the lower income people. See how he's going to try and help in a year when everything is
so
going
you're making
wrong.
the point, give him
he is
more
still
time.
going to manage it far better than anyone else.
Okay, Sanjay Jha, merit in the BJP argument that you blame the Gulf situation for fuel hike, this feared drought in West India for the spiraling prices of vegetables. Sanjay Jha.
Well, let me tell you something. It's very nice to see, some commentators on your panel with great deal of optimism. Good luck. The truth of life is somebody here in the BJP party created this whole impression in the minds of very unsuspecting innocent people of India that they had a magic wand, that the moment it came in the government and Mr. Modi became Prime Minister, inflation would come down, growth will move into double digits and what have you. You can't blame the people of India today for having expectations. And by the way, let me also tell you this, Gaurav, don't ignore it, that when parties compete in the elections, they also don't just sit idle, they have to think through plans that they need to implement. And this government should have known at the very beginning, when they were a party contesting an election, Gaurav, that end of day, the challenge for inflation is increasing production. And you can't increase production overnight, that's a fact. And if you want to increase production, augment supply, that takes considerable time. That's exactly what our government was trying to do.
No, sir,
and
you had 10
every time
years.
we
Are
took
you willing
steps,
to give that
including
time
the rail
to
fare
Prime
hike,
Minister Narendra Modi?
you saw,
Sunil Alak says
you
that just
saw,
the government has just had to
for 10
years.
years.
Gaurav, my question to Sanjay Jha is, Sanjay Jha,
let me tell you,
ironically,
Gaurav,
you
let me
say that
tell
the
you,
innocent
let me
people
tell
of
you.
India have been fooled. But
Gaurav,
let me tell you,
over the 10 years, the UPA government
people of India
gave
cannot
an
be
average
fooled.
growth rate of
They know what they have
8%.
chosen.
Okay,
They are
one
ready
at
to
a
give.
time. Gentlemen, one at a time.
10 years.
Sanjay Jha, quickly.
Mr. Patra, get to know your facts, my friend.
I
The
know my
GDP
facts.
growth
People of
average was
India also know the
8%.
facts.
We
It's
have
the
left
Congress
behind
party which needs to
foreign
play the
exchange
game
reserves
well.
Paranjay,
of
go on.
Congress does not
Paranjay, at this point of time,
people out of poverty.
the government
You still have
says
to
there
show
was
what
no
you're capable of.
alternative to increasing freight rates. You need to pump in money. If you need infrastructure, you need money. 11 years of bankrupt railways. Had they not increased freight rates by 14%, how would railways have functioned? That's the bitter pill Janta will have to swallow. You buy that?
Freight rate is by 6.2%. Passenger rate is by 14%.
Gaurav,
Go on.
Gaurav, if you want to increase railway freight and then expect inflation to remain where it is, you're fooling nobody. If you expect that you will continue to increase diesel prices by 50 paisa every fortnight and then say that we'll control inflation, you're fooling nobody. If you increase the import duty on sugar from 14 or 15% to 40% and then not expect the price of sugar to go up, you're again fooling nobody. So the short point is, whereas it's early days for the Modi government, Mr. Narendra Modi himself has said that the honeymoon period is over. The people have expectations and time alone will tell whether the track record of this government will be very much better than the track record of the previous government. The single biggest reason the Congress was decimated in the election was because of its inability to control inflation. Food inflation has been at a record level for the last 5 or 6 years.
Okay, so what is the Modi government doing, Sambit, which is different from what Manmohan Singh had done?
Let me tell you, let me pick up the example from where Thakurda left it. I mean, he was pointing the finger towards the sugarcane industry and the increase in the import duty of sugar. Look, what the Modi government has done differently. In the Manmohan Singh government, what the Manmohan Singh government gave was an increase in the cane arrears from 11,000 crores to 13,350 crores. Almost all the mills across Uttar Pradesh were at the verge of being closed. And to save the sugar industry, the import duty was increased. Ethanol blending was made compulsory in petroleum product. And third was 4,400 crores of subsidy was being granted to the cane mills, so that the sugarcane farmers who are at the verge of committing suicide, number of them have already committed suicide. Further do not do so, and they are contained. So I believe you have to see as to how the economics over here will be controlled. As far as the railway is concerned, we all are aware of the fact that the railways are losing 900 crore rupees a month, 30 crore rupees a single day. 90.8 is the operational ratio of railway. The railway is spending almost as much as it is earning. Do we save the railway or do we close down the railways? And the Congress is blamed for the condition of railways.
Quick response before I go to Sunil Alak to find out what's the road ahead. Quick response, Sanjay Jha.
Yeah, Gaurav, it's so laughable when I hear Sambit Patra today worrying about the railways. When his own current Prime Minister, when he was a Gujarat Chief Minister, was writing letters to the Dr. Manmohan Singh saying, please don't increase the price. Please let the railways bleed. It's okay because they're anti-people and anti-democratic.
Don't add your words, Sanjay.
Modi
never wrote, let us let railways bleed. You are the ones who killed the railway.
Gain. And now when he's become the Prime Minister, the government, his government decides to suddenly discover a commercial acumen that was clearly non-existent before.
No, we have our acumen.
Let's look ahead of
Mr. Modi has his acumen right. 15 long years, he has ruled Gujarat and he has shown what he can do.
Let's look beyond this, Sunil Alak, there is a drought that's looming large. The Agriculture Minister said, whether it's Goa, Maharashtra or Gujarat, there are drought-like conditions. Is the worst yet to come when it comes to the economy? Sunil Alak.
You know, you're so right. People are forgetting that we have a current account deficit which also deals with import of oil. As far as we are concerned, if you can reduce the consumption of oil in your country by bringing in dollars, we've got what the government last year got as foreign investment in the whole year has come in the last 40 days into India. That's what Modi has brought in. You cannot print dollars in India. If you can bring in, you have to pay for all your imports through dollars. There's a fiscal deficit. There's a current account deficit. If in the first 1 month, can I just, Sanjay Jha, I didn't disturb you. Let me finish. Whether it's hot money or cold money, you had no money. That's the bloody difference in Congress. There was no money. Hot or cold, we need the dollars right now. You can laugh.
When does the situation, Paranjoy Thakur, 30 seconds before I close show, when does the situation improve?
Where are the dollars going to come from? Hot or cold?
Okay,
He's attracted investment purely on the fact that he's come back.
Gaurav,
how are you going to control current account deficit?
Go on, Paranjoy. 30 seconds.
Gaurav,
does the situation improve or does the future look very bleak, the immediate future?
Gaurav, look.
The fiscal deficit.
I have no reason to believe that the future is going to be very much better. Let's accept the point. The fact of the matter is...
Yes, go on.
See, the fact of the matter is very simple. There's no difference between the economic policies that have been followed by the BJP so far. Okay? So if you want to increase, if you want to improve the financial health of the railways by increasing freight rates and not improving efficiency, if you think these kinds of packages for the sugar industry are the best way to revive the sugar industry, with it will come inflation. So that once the freight rates go up, the price of a whole range of commodities will go up. You increase your import duty on sugar, the price of sugar will go up. The short point is, if you're going to follow the same set of policies, however much you might claim about being different, you're actually no different. So
clearly, let's wait and see what vision does Prime Minister Narendra Modi unfold, and Finance Minister Arun Jaitley in the budget that comes, will Achhe Din actually come? I've run out of time on the broadcast. To all my guests, many thanks for joining me.